grab your popcorn and snacks, find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust. Turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about... Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday. How's everybody doing? Did you say good? It's good. Let me do this thing real quick. Okay. My name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team, based out of Sacramento, California. We are 45 strong up and down the state, which means we can help you if you think or you have a paranormal thing going on. But we have to come out and check first, of course. It may take us a couple days to get out there because California is a huge state. But we will get out there for you. We will get out there for you. Anyhow, my gosh, Christmas came fast. I remember when I changed the backdrop. It was the weekend before Thanksgiving. And I felt weird about changing the backdrop. But it has just flopped right in, hasn't it? Hasn't Christmas flopped right in? Yeah, I finally got my Christmas lights out in front of my house done. That's, because I've had this shoulder thing going on for a while, and it's just been aggravating, and so, the pain. So I've been trying to work through that. I'm putting my wreath on my door tomorrow. I mean, that's where we're at. We're due for another 4 days rain, too. But I'm excited, I'm really excited, and I love the holidays. I'll probably keep my stuff in until February. I usually keep them until my birthday and then take the stuff down, because I just enjoy it so much. Anyhow, got some announcements to make. Be sure, if you're over here watching tonight, and you hear that, because we're broadcasting to Facebook and YouTube tonight, follow me over at Clapper, California Haunts, over at Clapper. We're trying to have a backup, if something happens to TikTok. So I'm really seriously looking at being at Clapper. So follow me over at Clapper. There's a couple other places we're trying out as well, but Clapper seems to be in the forefront of how I'd like things to go, with my readings and all that, and reestablishing. Also, I will, if everything goes well this next week, we will be broadcasting live here at YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok starting sometime next week, because now Restream has come up with a deal with TikTok to where we don't have to have a stream key or anything like that. We can just go in and broadcast. So I'm excited to take this show over to TikTok, and have this in addition to my other show. And of course, my hat's crooked, because that's just, life wouldn't be me without a crooked hat or something crooked. Anyway, as Christmas gets closer, I'm going to be doing some really fun events. Last night, I was on, if you guys that watched it, I was online building a Oreo cookie train. Tonight, I'll be doing I'll be doing tarot readings. However, tomorrow night, we're going to finish the cookie train, and I also have a Lego Christmas tree to build. So we're going to be starting that project. And then, leading up to Christmas, I do have a penis gingerbread house to build. So we're going to be doing that. And then somebody wanted me to do Christmas Eve karaoke. So I'm starting to move things around my living room, because my dog's crate is right in front of where the karaoke machine is. So I'm starting to move things around my living room so I can, possibly, I'm going to say possibly do karaoke. We'll see, because the cage isn't very small. I mean, it's for a medium to large dog. So, it's one of those things I have to figure out where to put stuff. So that's one of the keys on all this. So, yeah. So, hopefully we'll be building up to that. Also, my Aloha tree, I've held it out for you guys because I wanted to do a special video for you. So, what I'll do is I'm probably going to go live and decorate that, and you guys can help me choose what ornaments to put where and things like that on that tree. It'll be sometime this weekend, if my schedule works out this weekend. I will not be going live Sunday night like I normally go. Well, I mean, I'll be reading the book, but as far as doing any kind of tarot readings, I might go over to Clapper. I don't know yet. I might take the night off too, because I need at least 1 week off, or one night off a week. 1 week off a night. Yeah, that makes sense. See, my marbles. But yeah, so that's everything in a nutshell. And going into the new year, hopefully, if everything works out and TikTok doesn't go away, it's not a problem as far as knowing where I'm going to be. But right now, everything, it's like that for a lot of content creators. Everything is up in the air till we know what's going on with TikTok. So yeah, all right. Anyway, tonight our guest is Casual Friday. Got my Aloha Santa on, right? I got Jack, and I'll be wearing this through the new year, so nobody yell at me after Christmas. It's going to go through the new year, then I'll be shifting back little by little, at least as far as the shows go. But my guest tonight, everybody knows her. Everybody loves her. She's great, one of the best psychic mediums I've ever known. Of course, I can say besides myself. See, I can say that now, besides myself. But one of the best psychic mediums I've ever known. And we've worked with her. I've worked with her for a long time. And I love it. And we're going to be talking about a topic that interests everybody, dreams. What dreams are telling you, you know? Yeah. You know, I don't remember my dreams. I should write some of them down because some are humdingers that I have. But anyway, let me bring her in, and she and I can chit-chat a bit and then get on with the show. And again, at 7:15 p.m. Pacific, after this show, I will be over on the Clock app doing tarot card readings. So come on over there. And I would love to get it to the point where, you know, like over at Clapper, where all you guys can come and join over there, right? Or do it like I did last night and be able to broadcast to everybody at once and then have you guys request. But unfortunately, it's just, yeah. Too many pans in the fire. All right, let me bring Nancy in, okay? Here we go. Do. Hello. Okay. You know, it's not working? All right, I gotta do a phone call on this. Hopefully my phone holds out for the show. I didn't expect to do this, so we'll see if the charge holds out on this phone. That's assuming I have the dots. We may not have a show at all because if I don't have my bars, it's not going to do me any good. And this phone this phone service I have is notorious for not having enough bars. Let's see. Let's see if I have bars. Well, I have bars. Okay. All right. So hopefully the phone will hold out. But then if I have 85% on here. So let me call Nancy. It's going to be one of those shows where Nancy's coming in through my mic, guys. So you're just going to have to just bear with it. Here we go.
Hi there.
What's up?
Well, I was doing the settings.
Yeah?
And I actually clicked one thing versus the other. So I looked it up. I made all the changes, yet on this show, it doesn't show that I can be heard. So I made the changes, but it's not allowing me to use the microphone. So we'll have to figure out how that happens. And maybe after the show real quick, you can spend a few minutes and see if we can figure it out. I probably really have to reboot the whole computer.
Yeah. I got interference coming through my headphones right now, too, and I don't know if it's from my mic.
Is it from the phone? Well,
I don't know. It sounds like I can just hear a little bit of... Now it's gone.
What's that? What? You had a double?
I don't know. I don't know what it was. It's gone now. So we had an explosion. We had an explosion this afternoon.
What was that?
Nobody knows. Shook all the windows in the neighborhood. It was insane.
Where was it?
They said it was like about 2.5 blocks, 3 blocks away.
Oh, in your neighborhood?
Yeah, I mean, it shook. I'm sitting here working in here, and there was a boom. The dog didn't like it at all either. And she comes running in here, and it's like, what was that? And at first I thought it sounded, the day our tree fell back, the night my tree fell, it sounded like a bowling ball had fallen in my kitchen. That's how loud it was, from up top. This is what this reminded me of. Is I thought the neighbor had done it. Because my hearing's shot, so I don't know direction or anything when it comes through. So I thought it was off my neighbor. And I'm waiting, I don't hear sirens, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I get on next door, and everybody's asking about it. And it was done, and there's a construction site down there, so they think that they might have used dynamite. But some guy got up on next door and said that one of his neighbors blew off a stick of dynamite.
That's pretty big deal.
Yeah, it shook my windows. It shook my windows.
The percussion of it, so it must have been long. I have no idea.
Yeah.
You know, that's tough. That's really scary. There was just a 50-year reunion, not reunion, but 50 years since the explosion at the railroad envelope and the freeway.
Right.
And we felt it in Citrus Heights, my husband and I. And so we went over there and watched the explosions. You could feel them miles away. So
Oh yeah, we could too.
To the ground, I guess, and the percussion just travels along the ground.
And the other thing,
the
other thing I try to tell people too is living out here, it's not so much anymore, but Aerojet.
Oh, yes.
Because when I was growing up,
absolutely.
you could hear the rocket engines being tested over there, all the time. You know.
My uncle worked there. I remember that off of Highway 50, between Sunrise and Hazel, I think, in that direction.
Yeah.
So someone could look it up.
Yeah. And I remember picking up mail there when I was working for a direct mail service, and I had to go in there and I had to have it was frightening. I had to have a radiation badge on going through there to go pick up the mail. You know, but it's interesting because hang on, because this guy I know, your uncle worked there. This guy I know built the maneuvering thrusters for the space shuttle. So it's kind of cool. All right, go ahead. You may speak.
Well, she started out talking about the different programs that will be working. And Twitter, I'm holding my fingers crossed, everybody. Kind of feel like there's a couple people who step forward to split it up or buy half, whatever, to keep it going. But Clapper and a couple other places that she's trying out may also work. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be hard to say one group has all the people. Maybe they'll leave TikTok and go somewhere else and then not come back.
Right.
So we're going to play around with it. I really do want to connect with my Facebook, all the people I use readings, 30 years worth, 25, 30, of course, emails may be outdated, but I will start connecting to people. And the idea that my interest, well, of course, I'm still working and clientele is still important.
Right.
I've worked with her almost 2 years now on all topics. Like tonight's the first time we've ever, that I can find dreams. Mm-hmm. So, and I need to get going. I got a lot of information, but I'm good at seeing dead people, deceased people out there. What can I say? I'll have to make sure I don't get in trouble over that. Who's standing next to you? I can see those people. I can see if your house is haunted and describe to you what I'm looking at and the noises you have. I do that a lot. People have lost animals or their spouses, and I can tell them where they were, and they can remember the experience, and that was a spirit person. Mm-hmm. The other thing I do that's very unusual is I can see who greets us at death. Now, if Shar said, well, who's going to greet me? Well, of course, it's her mother. I mean, logically, but she's got a lot of life to live yet. We don't know who's going to come into her life that will pass before her or anybody else, so that's really hard. But so the safe thing to do is ask about people who've already passed in your life, who did greet them, and I'll tell you by visual who it is. Mm-hmm. And if I get messages on any of these from ghosties to spirit kind, that's what I would like to do. And I think that would be very interesting. On YouTube, I'm going to be doing sessions, not sessions, but I'll be talking about sessions I've done going back as far as I can. Now, that's a pretty lengthy order, mm-hmm. because I got to listen to all the audio. And I'll pick and choose, if I can remember, which ones that are good or, interesting. So I'll be doing 2 platforms. Now, why am I doing this? Because I have a lot of information I got to get out of my head. and things that I feel like we should be aware of, that spirit kind does survive. We do survive in the spirit kind. And to coexist with those people. Because I live with ghosts, Shar lives with ghosts, and we go, oh, hum. In fact, the other night I told you 2 weeks ago we were talking about it. And the ghosts move things off of our mm-hmm. Countertops and wash machine. We have a bucket, as everybody does, and wash rags from the kitchen. And we wash them all at once and all. Wash them all. And so at some point, they seem to like knocking that over. So
okay, I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna back out because I'm having trouble with the mic. Hang on. I don't know what this is. Okay, I'm gonna call you back. I want to see something. Let me call you back.
Oh, call. Okie dokie.
It's the phone. I gotta move you. Try to figure out what was making that noise.
I'm at fault. I clicked the wrong. I just call that tech guy up again.
Okay.
And I had my. Okay, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm gonna go grab the backup power for this phone too, because I wasn't ready for this.
Oh, we're having a really fun night.
Go ahead.
Um, I typed a lot of this information, but I want to give credit. I did check a couple places for things that maybe I had forgotten. And Psychic Central, very well based mind. And those are two sites, just arbitrarily just picked them up. And I glanced over it. And a lot of this is my wordage and theirs together. So I kind of had to make it, cohesive as trying to do this. I've already explained, once upon a time we talked about dreams coming in past lives. And one of the dreams that my friend had, client, was the early 90s, a very young man in his early 20s. He was somebody who sold, get in the car and demonstrated, kind of like somebody who would sell things to pharmacists or whatever. And he was in the vehicle driving, and he ended up going into large areas across country. Well, he started remembering a dream that he had as a child, and then as he got older, he would not have it often, but he still had this dream, and it reminded him about, I remember this dream. I'm going to call Nancy up. So he came over, we talked about it, he gave me this elaborate dream of going and seeing a house, large one-room kind of thing with a porch with poles in the front. And the fields of corn, they're all cut down. As he had been driving, that reminded him to talk to him about it. And there was a woman, he was a young boy, on the porch. And this mother figure, very slim, dark hair, white dress, I looked through to see her over again. She went into the house. And then he came out and took him into the house, and that was the end of the dream. And I told him, I said, she killed you. And he said, yes, I know that. And he said, and my sister was in the house. I said, yes, she killed her first, and then she came out and killed him. And during the Depression, I imagine that happened. Husband would go away trying to find work, find money to buy, and then she'd be by herself in his house, a shack, nothing to eat, no way to take care of him. And I unfortunately believe that probably happened more than we wanted into it. And so this young man, I said, you have a sister, don't you? And he said, yeah. And I said, have you ever asked her if she had the same dream? And he says, it never occurred to me. And he went home, and he asked his sister, and she says, I've had the same dream off and on that I'm in the house, and mother comes in, and she just kills me, and then I see her taking your life after me. And so in the past life, this was dreams, was not visual during the day. But curiously, both he and his sister never had children. Never married, never had children, which I find very curious, because the drama of that life, they didn't want to be a parent in this life for the fear of the drama of it. But he was absolutely astonished that the two of them decided to come together and have a life together. It was very emotional. Just recently, and this young lady is going to be listening to this in a couple of days. I'm going to take the privilege, I'm not going to say her name. Where she lives, she may have access to a ferry. There's so many waterways in the world that cross over, like in Virginia. There must be ferries everywhere. And she has found herself on a ferry, and it's 2 levels. And as she's standing there, she sees this very large wave coming towards her, and she's afraid. And she looks around to see if anybody else has noticed it, and she sees this very important political figure standing next to her. And they look at each other, and they, we're going to go up. So they went up to the top floor of the ferry, and as they looking over, the wave came and crashed on the bottom, but not the top. And she says, I was so relieved. I said, I'm safe. And she looked over, and the important political figure wasn't happy at all. And I asked her, I said, well, how did you feel about that? She said, I was surprised that he was standing next to me. And I was shocked that the wave didn't hit the top only the bottom. And so she had relief. So I asked her, is it a desired outcome or a prophetic dream? Only you would know that. But I'm going to be talking about symbolism. And we do dream about political people. So I have a friend who's very, very good at dreams. And she will dream political, economic, whatever. You know, I don't work in the political world, nor can I remember names. In my world, when I do sessions, I do not want names. I never want it unless I say it by mistake. Because you never know when these readings will get out in the public for whatever reason. There is a gentleman named Charles Middleton. He had purchased a ticket end of March, and he had a dream. And the dream was that he was on this large ship, and it started to sink into the ocean. The next dream was he was seeing all these people in the water and in boats that they have on the side of the ship, rescue boats. And he said, oh my gosh. So he canceled his trip on the Titanic. And he said he dreamt it 2 or 3 times in a row. I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 times. And it saved his life.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine if I were to have access, oh, wait a minute, no. Okay, I thought maybe I thought maybe something had changed. The colors on the screen on my earpiece is changing. Okay, so he had a dream, and I imagine if we were to talk about things, we would get dreams about our health or fearful situations. I've actually had a few dreams I'll put in here on my health. And it's been a while that I remember having an appointment, and I had a dream of discord, and I followed up, and I had a problem. And I don't think that happens as often, but it happened to me, but look what I do for a living. So there you go. Here's another one. This one I saw in a video talking about dreams. There was a woman who was raising a beautiful young girl, and the woman had a dream that her daughter would win the Miss Universe contest in a red dress. And the little girl was like 7 or 8 years old. And she says, oh, Mommy, fun. Well, guess what? She grew up and won Miss Universe, and when she put the crown on, she had a red dress. So clearly that was very interesting. In the 1800s, mid-1800s, I believe, a woman found out that her daughter had had a terrible accident, fallen downstairs, and she had died. And the husband was so distraught when the police of that era came. It was in America, what they called them at those times, that he was so distraught. He was hugging, loving her, and he had her clothes was wrapped up around it like she had fallen. He didn't disarray her garments in any way. And he asked that her body not be examined or her clothes for modesty. He just wanted to be able to bury her, and he did. He buried her very quickly. Well, a couple weeks later, the girl's mother started dreaming of her daughter. The daughter came and told her mother that he had strangled her, that he was a murderer. And she went to the courts, and they dug the body up. And in history, this is known as the only murder case solved by the ghost of the victim. But the mother had the dream. The mother trusted her dream, which is really very interesting. One of the things I find curious, and I know it must happen a lot, because you've heard of people saying, I woke up with a dream. Well, George Harrison of the Beatles, one of the last songs he wrote, he had dreamt the song. And we hear about this all the time. And books. I actually dreamt 2 of my books. One of them I haven't written yet, Ghostly Wife. And I've dreamt the whole thing. The Unwilling Sacrifice, which is very disturbing. I dreamt that one too. And I thought, well, where is that? There's a different way here. The one that the bad guy, the one that is the monster. And I thought to myself, why would I dream of that? Is that a real thing around here? Something? What's happening? And I did dream the whole plot, and I just find that fascinating. And I'm not the only one I've heard that has dreamt books or songs, movies. I didn't look into how many movies have been dreamt of, but if I could dream a book up, 2 of them, which is not like me, especially fiction. I'm kind of a nuts and bolts kind of person, and I'm going to be writing a book called the Ghostly Wife. Probably in the next year or two. I'm doing ghosties and attachments right now. But the other one is Skyrim. And I dreamt or had visions during the day of the air splitting open. And I had dreams about what my characters would look like. And I found that kind of curious. Now, am I strange? Wow, Nancy, you do this, but I do this for a living. You know, I'm a remote viewer, and I'm a psychic, whatever, all the things I do. So I think I might have turned my switches on a little looser. So I do this more often, but if I can do it, you can do it. And so I'm going to cover some of the things that we can encourage you to do to make that happen. And real quick, I'll add that since I'm talking about it. Say, I have people in my life who are writers and in the music industry and so on and so forth. And if I were somebody who wanted to produce something, I would write my thoughts down, even if it's an outline. And I would think about it before going to bed. I didn't do that for mine, but I think there's a way you might encourage your unconscious person to do this. I have a strange ability. I'm missing. If I need something, I will know where to go to find it. And I thought to myself one day, what am I doing in my dream state? Am I shopping all the stores? It was going on in Sacramento area, and I would know to go across town to a particular store, and they would have what I was looking for. I'm thinking, how many ladies are you? You want a particular pair of shoes or a dress, and you know all the stores around you are not going to have it, but the one in downtown will? Yes. We must leave our body in the dream state and go shopping. Oh, hello. Dreams are turbulent, they are exciting, they're remorseful, and they sometimes will deal with issues that maybe we don't want to deal with in everyday life. And I know for a fact PTSD is a phenomenon that most people have at some time in their life for some reason. And you can work things out from childhood. Maybe in the daytime you wouldn't want to. What about that relationship or issues that on the job? You won't necessarily talk to people, but your nighttime is full of it. You may not deal with it, but you have to deal with it in your nighttime until you come to grips. Listen, everybody, I did have my glasses where I took them down to the optical. It seems like they keep falling, and I apologize. I don't know what they're going to have to put super glue on these things and keep my glasses up. Old relationships or even issues of on the job. How many people have had jobs, and 20 years later you're still thinking, I wish I'd never said that. I wish I never said that. Why is this so important, especially in a work environment? Majority of our dreams reflect our sense of danger. We are programmed to worry about danger and harm. Danger to somebody else, harm to us, harm to our environment, harm our fearfulness of change in life. I put 24 years in Pacific Bell. I left that to do this full time. How many people make that kind of leap? I tell you, I had dreams. I had dreams before I did it. I had dreams after I left. Was that the right thing to do? Well, I was looking at having cancer again. I had stage 3.5, and I left everything, the marriage, and then my career a couple of years later, did this full time. Didn't know I was going to live this long. Joke's on me, everybody. How fun, right? I'm still here working. But our sense of who we are is based on if we're safe. And so most times people won't talk about dreams. It's not always, oh, this is so wonderful. Is it because we don't talk about what's so wonderful? Most of our dreams are going to be negative. And when you get to a place of owning that, or you have to go to a place of trying to identify what everything means, that's fun. That's not so negative. But if you're dreaming, it means you're working it out. How do you end up working it out? I really enjoy reading and listening to people who have near-death experiences. And I do find it fascinating. Of course, the ones that are coming back are the ones that have to work things out. And the percentage of people that have yet to finish working out things are the ones that have to learn either to learn to love or learn to forgive or learn to accept. Same principles. We seem to have a theme that kind of dominoes into our life over and over. But most of our dreams have to do with keeping us safe. And that comes from caveman era. You know, they're very intuitive at that time. They knew how to take care of themselves. They were always on guard. How many animals have you seen that are always on guard when they don't know somebody's new? I have cats that are 9 years old. and they're still always on guard. That's because they were feral, and they're always on the outlook of what can hurt me. Particularly one, I have one that's autistic. How do you know that? Well, Nancy, I know. So I'm always worried that he's going to get scared half to death at something that's unusually loud or unexpected, because we're always living on, that's a terrible statement. Do we always live on fear? And it governs our lives, unfortunately, right? Making money and networking with the right people. Who am I going to talk to today? How can we do the future? And sometimes we have to learn, and I've given talks on this, synchronicitous situation, the coincidences, but we set it up because you, in the minute of discord or not knowing what you're going to do, that fear levels, oh, they think here, what can I do, what can I do? So in your dream state or your energetic field, we reach out to make a situation happen that benefits us in the future. We are never just a little like an egg. We never keep all our energy to ourselves. We're constantly reaching out, shopping across town. We're networking with people. I can feel when Char's talking about me. I have a couple friends, Sue Koo. She has a group in Sacramento, wonderful woman. She works out of Benicia, metaphysical store there, does energy work. Wonderful, wonderful. At times when we think about people, we can reach out and touch them. So in your sleep, you're reaching out to everybody you know, try and find the next step to where you need to go. And we can feel people. And I've talked to Char. She said, I really have someone just tap into me. Well, maybe they need her. Maybe there's fear in their life and they want connection. Who knows? So I find those kinds of things very, very interesting. Surprisingly, the number of people call me for sessions over these years talking about dreams is amazing. And so we think, well, let's see here. I'm just going to go down to the metaphysical store or wherever, Amazon, buy a book on dreams. Caution, caution. I'm going to give you some ideas because I don't want you to accept the definition of what you're seeing as gospel. It's not always wrong. These people are trying to help you be calm with yourself and give you ideas. But I'm going to make it kind of, I got to get talking here. I'd like to make it really basic so that you take it to be basic, that we're not that complex, that we have a common theme of safety, danger, Will Robinson situations. How am I going to keep myself going in life? That's really the bottom line. Has it to do with relationships? Absolutely. All of us want attention. All of us want friendships. Those are all kind of relationships. Work relationships, friends from the past relationships. Absolutely. And at that time, we still want to be safe. We want to be loved. We want to be adored. We want people in our life. And when it doesn't work, then you're going to dream about it. Okay? I like to go on here. So I've talked about the majority of our dreams reflect our sense of danger, perceived outcomes, not desirable. Happiness, can I be happy? And am I secure in my life? Are you going to dream that your life isn't safe? How many people have said to you, gosh, I have this uncomfortable feeling in my home. What should I do? Well, they could be dreaming about not being safe, someone barging in. In fact, a client of mine has been talking about someone breaking into her home. Worried. Well, a week later, the front door, and said, we've lost the phone, and it's here. And she says, I remember not being safe, so I didn't open the door. Wow. Okay, so a few days later, she's talking to someone at work, and they're asset reminded, or she reminded their asset. You can then say, I want a tracker on my phone. And I want somebody to be able to find that track. Which is in Roseville, there's a lot of houses. Which house is it? So they went to all the houses. I don't hope these two found the phone. But it unnerved her. So she's very, very intuitive. So she might have had a hit of being in distress at the front door. Mm-hmm. She says, I didn't open the front door. Okay. She talked to them. She must have opened because she has a screen. No, she wasn't going to let them in. No. So it seems someone in a waking mental state also could influence your dream state. You know, I got grandbabies, right? Oh my gosh, watching the videos of them at the railroad train downtown Sacramento, somewhere there's a place where you can, Char may know about these things, a train all decorated with Christmas, and the elves are guitaring and playing. Well, these two little grandbabies, 6 and 8 years old, are as cute as can be, and they all have matching pajama type things on. I got real happy. Maybe I should look at that before going to bed tonight because it lifted me. So I would go to bed in a happy place, happy, sincerely, serene, cute little girls, the little tiny girls that wear the foo-foo dresses, the ballerina stuff, and the frosted pink and blues. Oh my God, they're so girly. So I could go to bed and I would have good dreams. Now, we think here, my husband watches all the man shows. Really terrible. And the fights. When I went in there and watched the military or watched the fights and they agitate me, what kind of mental state would I be when I go to bed? What movies are you people watching before you go to bed? Have you been watching YouTubes on political stuff? Are you wound up? What is that doing to your sleep? Well, clearly, it's disturbing me. Because if you wake up more than once in the nighttime, that's too many times. It's a distraction. And they say that the less sleep you get, the more disturbed dreams you will have. Because your brain is saying to you, by the way, young lady, young man, you're not sleeping enough. Well, I read one day that at my age I should get 7 a night. I go, well, what decade did I get 7 hours sleep a night? Char, she gets 3 or 4 at a time. Crazy. You can't survive on that. So it does also affect, because your inside person, the dream person, says, by the way, you're not taking care of yourself. What's wrong with you? Relax. Okay, so take those things in consideration. Don't watch something so turbulent before going to bed that you're all roused up. And I don't watch that much TV, but I know that there's a lot of really calm kind of movies on. Hallmark station at night, but then, well, I don't watch it until it's very important. So waking well-being, that's very important. Remember that. Symbolism being is very important. Caution, if you feel that you read a book and it lists something, if it feels right for you, then accept it. Don't do what I say. But at the same time, I've taken 2 other classes when I was working in the Spirit of Grace Church, Citrus Heights, California, Ken and Ollie Keck with the reverends. I was teaching classes, and then I say where they taught classes, and they did dream analysis and symbolism. And then I've read, because people ask me about dreams a lot. It's kind of surprising. And one of the dreams I remember, it's been a long time, this one was talking about, oops, lights just go on. Yeah, this is an older house, but they were turned off. Who's doing this, right? I love it when they step in. Symbolism. And so this was a woman who took a trip, and it was on a plane. And on the plane was an ex-husband. Oh, really? It was a long time ago. I don't know if it was Shara, if you tell me, because I don't remember who talked to me about it. When you have a dream, remember that as much as you can. And remember when you wake up in the morning and you were tossing and turning, just lay really still and say, why was I tossing and turning? And you can collect information. Usually the first, usually the first most turbulent dreams are first in the evening, the REM sleep. The ones that are prophetic and inspirational, usually the last dreams. That's how they usually sleep. Sorry. The big cat. Okay, so they usually, and the big item in her dream was the airplane itself. And she saw herself going through life encapsulated in this great big bubble. And the bubble was, she had no control. She was sitting in the seat. She was strapped in. And over there was an ex-husband who she couldn't get along with. So envision this encapsulated environment of despair. The big plane was taking her through life, and she was trapped in it with somebody who was interfering. And I said, how do you like parachutes? So the next time she had a dream, she realized that the big object would be the same as a car. If you're in the car and you're being yelled at in the dream, what does that represent? It's you in the car. You're trying to go through life and someone's coming into your space. Look at it that way. So symbolism is very important, but you have to realize it's not always you. Most of the time it is. If you're watching a situation then you're witnessing someone else's discord, which puts you in discord. Are your dreams then saying to you, you are the witness to this person's life. This is why you came together. You're only to witness their growth, or you have to analyze it very carefully. Are you supposed to take care of that person? And people often dream of their children that way. They'll watch the children in discord. Sorry about the hands. In discord, you'll watch your child doing this and that. And so you have to accept that you are there to witness their growth. And we have to be very careful also that if you witness, give them positive. If it's a young child, first time they play baseball, and you're in the stands watching them, and you have no control of what could happen, and you're worried. If before the game, then, you want to love that child up and say, no matter what happens, the idea is to have fun. Because every year you're going to get better and better. And so we want to get positive, then you won't dream about the child of not being so separated and can't give input. Okay? So you got to have to look at the bigger place. Like I said, I get asked a lot about this. The woman on the ferry, well, she was the ferry boat, and she was going to be overtaken by the wave of emotion. Water is emotion. Everybody says that. But logically it is. And she saw herself drowning with emotion, going through life, possibly representative of the political figure next to her, causing discord in her life. Maybe. Or was it that she thought about going upstairs and she took control of her life, and then it didn't drown? She didn't drown. Being a passenger car, I did ask that. Riding a horse. I used to do long-distance runs. I'm one of those 50-mile horse race women. And then I got into riding ties, and then I gave up the horse because I enjoyed running. I actually used to have dreams of riding a horse. And now you don't know this, but I went over a cliff with a horse. Got scared. Auburn Lake trails between Auburn and Douglas Boulevard and the freeway surrounding a dirt trail surrounding Folsom Lake. Well, Snake was in the road, and Butters, my 17-and-a-half hands horse, quarter Abby, she went right over the cliff, and we were going down, and I was on her belly on side, and she hit a rock. It was the only thing that stopped us from going all the way down. And I had a lot of dreams of that because danger was happening. We got very lucky, and she was pretty upset, but yet everybody, there were two other ladies with me, and they said, do you want to walk out? And I realized it was a long walk. And I said, I better get on the horse, I never will again. And she was just fine. It was me that was kind of had to figure out a way to get my leg out from underneath her, luckily. And then I remember getting and going up the hill. And that, at the moment, didn't seem as bad as my memory of it over time. So a form of PTSD came into it. How did I get over it? I think of something like that. When I was 50 years old, I took a rollerblading. Fell on a lot. Most of the times people would say, oh, that hurt? Yeah. But I think when you continue and you are successful, that overrides the danger that you had. Because that was Danger, Will Robinson. In that moment, I could have just given it up. Everybody would have understood. Not many people go over a cliff. Swimming in the ocean or a pool. Being wet or in a watery situation. Sprinklers. Being hit with a fire hose. Even drinking, if you have a cup of something and it's clear, you don't know what it is. What do you think it is? You know, a young person worried about watching TV about drugs in it. Or I don't drink, maybe someone's forcing me to drink. And those are emotions of usually frustration. Conflict is a form of frustration. So if you're out drinking with your partner and this is somebody that you're questioning, but you keep drinking, you have water all around you, that could be what it is. Experiencing, I always said this, experiencing a peace of mind before falling asleep is linked to a higher chance of pleasant dream experiences, usually toward the bottom if you're going to have conflict. But if you go dream time of night, if you go to bed with peacefulness, yeah, you're going to have better light dream experiences. Anxiety, physical, will lead to a negative dream effect. I already spoke of that. There is and I've read this, connection between sleep cycles and your emotional state. We've already talked about that, but turbulence can wake you up. If you have a dream bad enough, how many of you had a dream you woke up and you've been running in your dream? Or you've been fighting? My mother had a really difficult second marriage. He was very 6'4". My mother's 5'3", and he was somebody that was injured in World War II, and he was playing around all the time, and it would wake him up, but not before he punched my mother a couple times. So it was very, very, very difficult. So during the dream state, that PTSD from the World War II was very evident in their life. Very, very difficult, which could go on for years. I have another client going through a court case, and he said, I know I have PTSD, but he called me up all stressed out. I said, did you call the court psychiatrist? And I want you to be aware, if you're in a situation where like this, and they're trying to prove that you recovered from this event, you get yourself a psychiatrist, and every time you have PTSD, you go if it reminds you of that reason why the lawsuit's going on. Got to have a paper trail. And most people don't want to admit that they're suffering PTSD and it's disrupting their sleep cycles. That's very, very important. Remember I said earlier, if you don't get enough sleep, it can be very damaging, including, and at the time here, you will die. And I do talk to people and I say, and how many hours sleep did you get? You know, oh, I had 6, maybe the last 2 days. Who am I talking to here? Lack of sleep may lead to mental health. How many of you know people very, very tired? Very, very grouchy. Talk to some nighttime nurses. They'll tell you how tired they get. And they're the ones giving you your medicine. Oh, heck, really? And so symptoms while achieving that REM cycle, stage where you tend to experience vivid dreams, could be linked to mental health benefits if you sleep enough, if you go to bed peacefully. And probably have heard, if you're not been around long enough, and probably have heard that we can die if we don't get enough sleep. In fact, you'll see horror movies where people are kept alive and the prison camps, especially during World War II and the Korean War and all these wars, prisoners are not allowed to sleep and they can kill them. Consider asking these questions, identify symbols in your dream. And I did write this down from one of the sites. What was a symbol or object in your dream? I already spoke about the largest one is usually the biggest one is you. It could be a house, it could be a car, it could be a plane, it could be on a horse, bigger than you. Where are you standing? Where are you in the dream is important. Are you inside or are you witnessing? That's very, very important. Objective outsider looking in. Are you doing it right? Do you regret? In turmoil. If possible, look and see if there's anybody you recognize in the dream, which is important. Because if it's a spouse, a partner, an ex, whatever, then you know you have conflict in the biggest item. Inside has got someone like the woman's ex-husband was in the plane with her. To me, when she told me, I'm like, really, you haven't thought about it? I thought to myself, it's so obvious what's going on here. So, if possible, put yourself in the dream in a relaxed state and have the sense of your energy. This is very common. I mean, you're going to have a turbulent dream. You're distressed. Excuse me, I'm really in distress here. That's why you woke up in the middle of the night 3 times, right? And then the last thing is what is the first thing that comes to mind when you think about the symbol in your dream? These are all common things, but I want to give credit to the psychic central, because those are the 5 things, but I kind of covered it. Yes, symbols can have different meanings to different people. No one has the ultimate book of meanings. And when I wrote that, I realized I would promote every book in the world of dreams if they all lined up to the same reasoning, and they don't. Because I have looked, and just with curiosity, and it's emotional identification of it. But there are some threads that are common, like the biggest thing in the dream is you inside of your life. The biggest obviously is you, ending is sometimes shown as death. When you have a death in a dream means the end of one cycle, beginning of something else. Women who are pregnant will often say in the dream, I had another child. I says, what's new in your life? A new job, a new direction, a new house. So new something, but the anticipate of it coming is why you're pregnant. It's not like you start out holding a child. For a man, I would just use the idea of planning to buy a purchase of a car in the dream. Men identify like a child, something brand new coming to life like a child. It would be a car. I've seen that before. Um, when you have a dream in the morning or at night, if you wake up in the middle of the night, oh, that was a terrible dream, try to remember what it is. Because if you remember what it is that disturbs you the most, then during the day, logically think it through. And I have an expression, please, never on a Friday night start thinking about your health. Absolutely, because you have to wait until Monday. Thank you very much. If you have a dream that's so disturbing during the middle of the night, you're not going to go to sleep. Write it down and say, I have written down a problem. There's nothing I can do about it tonight, but I will spend time tomorrow to think about it. If I write it down, I don't have to worry about trying to remember it. Put it aside. That way, when you lay down, if you go back to thinking about it, wait a minute, I don't have to think about it because it's right there. I'll be safe because it's right there. You can do the same thing in the morning. Sometimes if you have it where you have the last dream, it was disturbing, and you're going to be awake. Okay, first thing, clean up. I would clean up in the morning, go get the coffee, sit down, watch the news, then think of the dream. Why did I have that turbulent dream? Oh, it was so disturbing. Then you have to think it through. Once you start thinking through it, accept it, forgive, or allow that person to be part of it. How many people have thought of a conversation 20 years ago and wish you said something different? Duh. The thing is, the person you had the conversation with, they've already forgotten. You're worrying about something that no longer matters. Most people will forget a conversation of something you said that was stupid. They will not remember. And you're going to spend how much energy thinking about it? Let it go. The one thing I did see, and I had forgotten, I'll give credit to these sites, and I have a friend who keeps a log, a journal, a diary of all her dreams. Methodical, intelligent woman. Excuse me, I will not do that. I write and think all the time. I don't want to do that. Maybe I should, but I don't. But the thing is that she's very intuitive, so she will write down, and she gets validation that something really came true later on. How exciting that she actually dreamt it. That's really amazing. If you keep a log, diary of something, and you find you're dreaming the same thing over and over and over, if you don't have someone to talk to, sometimes a best friend, but you can't abuse your best friend. Maybe you ought to see a therapist and work it out. Sometimes it's okay. You have to. Sometimes, because it's disrupting your life. The greatest gift we have, and I can speak to this, is I get to wake up. I think if I don't wake up in the morning, you'll know why I talk about it. The thing is that our greatest gift is the ability and the privilege to have a life. And if you damage it with uncomfortable, bad feelings that surface in you and disrupt you, then you're not getting 100% of your life. And when we're done with this life, if I become a spirit person, that has, well, we are going to be spirit people, because I deal with them all the time. There's this guy here. He's a wonderful, nice guy, but, stop knocking things over. The thing is that we have that privilege, but the difference is, and I've had spirit people tell me, I can't wait to come back. I go, you really want to come back here? He says, I just love the idea of the thickness of the body and taking a deep breath. I was alive, and when you get hugs, you get to hug somebody sick. And as I've gotten older, I see the value of women friends. And the friends I've had the lowest three generations. One lady is 1977. Another one I met when I was 13. And so I have friends, Sue, I met her, I've met her husband, 96, I think 95. I told him that she was showing up, described her, married them at my house in Pollock Pines on the deck around the pine trees. It was a lovely home. And so maybe 25 years I've known her. And I will say I love you, because we don't do it enough. Love is what life is about. Acceptance, learning, and making service to others. And so I got to keep going. Money, lack of, dream you're hungry, car breaks down, you're feeling lacking in a way, being in a location that is distressful. we've all had dreams of money. I mean, unless you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. But then the wealthiest of my clients, and I have dozens, I'm not going to say who they are, but I don't know if their life is so wonderful. I have, maybe I've had two that have actually said to me their life was boring, that they don't have the stress that everybody else, they don't have. And so they were so wealthy, I thought, well, I'd like to try for 10 minutes. I don't know what that mindset would feel like. But to tell you the truth, the happiest people that I've ever talked to were the ones that are striving for a common goal. Let's say for a house. Let's build a backyard. Let's physically, emotionally, intellectually get involved. And so you can dream about those things. Those who have lack of money. I talk to clients that are so poor. I have a lady in Oregon that saves up her money to buy a credit card, so she can talk to me. She's homeless. It's amazing. It's amazing. But she saves her money and she can't wait. In fact, I haven't heard from you for a while if you're listening to this. So I'd like to know how you're doing since your man friend passed away. So give me a call. You know who you are. Okay. Dreaming and lack of money. So we need to turn around. I listened to a lady once and was talking, and she was fearful because she had to go back to work. And she was like 67, I guess. And I thought about it for a while, and I said, be grateful that you're capable of working. Everybody has a talent. Even if you work at fast food, we all can do the job. If you can get a job, and nowadays they'll do everything you can to accommodate disabled people, is that we can work. If you desire to work, you can find a job. But you have to want it. And that's a privilege. There's a lot of people I know who can't work, especially very older people who have severe illnesses. And so it's a privilege. So I now say, and I've thought about people say, when are you going to retire? I go, let me think. If I retire, what will I do with my time? Well, guess what, everybody? I would do this. I'm going into my retirement job right now doing these videos. How fun is this? What else do you want? I want you to think about things like that. I have friends that say, all I want to do is read when I retire. You deserve that then. I'd go out and treat myself to a really good chair and find that perfect lamp and enjoy reading. I love to read, but there's other things that come up here. So when you talk of money, be open to the idea that you are privileged to be able to work a fine job. I think Walmart hires older people. How about that? My husband got a job after the recession. We kind of lost a lot. Got a job transporting vehicles from one spot to another. He loved it. He loved it. Saw his first UFO, Tucson, Arizona, in the nighttime. No one else looked up at him. Of course, he says to me, I want to see ghosties. Of course, he has seen this guy here, and I want to see UFO that way. Oh, well, okay. There's one that was really odd to me. I got it. And I got to talk quick here. Teeth falling out, lack of control, bottom line. Anxiety around dentists, doctors, losing control, losing your body parts. People talk about losing their hair, losing their clothing. It's all the same. Dreams, most dreams are of you, how you handle a situation, lack of control, fearful of harm. I've already talked about abandonment or mistreatment, and not knowing how to get away with something. Ooh, I hadn't thought of that one. That was there. So if you're somebody who's a bad person, do you plan a robbery? Is that what you dream of? Sometimes we have to allow our dreams to evaluate the actions of the day. That's the easy stuff. So at night, sometimes you'll find yourself going through the same motions you did during the day. Your brain just says, we got a lot of stuff in here. We want to clean it out. We want you to dream about it so you can just make moves then tomorrow. So then that's really, really what it is. And I already mentioned this. We're doing a conversation over and over and wish you had said and not said something. The thing is, I want you to go back 20 years and have a remembrance of talking to somebody and they said something stupid. It doesn't happen. It's you that said something stupid, and you're the one that should let it go. Most people will never think of it. The last thing I'd like to mention, and spirit dreams. Absolutely, spirit comes through. I don't know how they do it, but I do know we're not always in our body. my brain, my actions, reading clients all around the world. How's that possible? I put my life force up there. And I go interdimensionally. If I go interdimensionally, your spirit kind are already there. We leave our body, we go shopping at night. We can meet up with spirit kind in their residence. I met up with my aunt and uncle in her marble-covered home in the sky. It'd be just like her to have everything marble. You met her, you go, oh. You can ask for and receive guidance. You can go before going to bed. I'd like a spirit guide, or an angel, or somebody who's around me to give me guidance, open doors for me, give me opportunities. Absolutely ask. That is not something you should be ashamed of. It's something that you're encouraged to do because it's taking control of your life. Many others have had spirit visitations in our dreams. Absolutely. And wishing to say goodbye, or actually meeting up with spirit to tell them that you are fine, or they to tell you they are fine. Okay, I finished. I did everything. I don't think I left anything out.
Good job.
All right, that was dreams tonight, everybody. Enjoy that.
Did you hear that explosion? A few minutes ago.
Was there another one?
Yeah, there was another one a few minutes ago. Don't know what it is.
I was in the midst of talking, honey.
Maybe it's the drones. Maybe it's the drones. No, I don't know. But yeah, I just heard another one. Anyway, guys, join me over on TikTok at about probably half hour to 35 minutes, and I'll be doing some free readings for you guys. It looks like my moderation team is sick, so it looks like I may be moderating and reading tonight. So it should be an interesting.
No.
It should be an interesting ride tonight over there.
Yes.
So.
What you're doing about tonight, doing the show by yourself.
Yeah, I'll be doing everything by myself. That's what it's gonna look like. So anyway, join me over there, and then tomorrow night, I will be back over there, but we're not going to be doing readings. I will be building. I will be finishing off the Oreo cookie train and starting the Lego Christmas tree tomorrow night. So that'll be tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, 6 p.m. Pacific. We'll be over there. I'll be over there doing that. A few other things this weekend too. So join me. And Nancy, how do people find you?
I have two websites, nancymatz.com and nancymatzauthor. And, of course, my website, nancymatzpsychic, or is it Psychic Nancy Matz? Oh, my gosh. Which one is it, Char? Anyway, it's probably on the, okay, so Nancy Matz Psychic is my YouTube. Sign up there. That's where I'll be sending out notices when I get my show started with the spirit readings.
Okay, cool.
Well, thank you, Pamela.
See, we have people watching.
Find stream. Go ahead.
No, we have people watching.
Sorry.
See, we have people watching.
Yeah, the chat room. I lower the Word document, and then I see there's people in there.
Things will get more quiet as we get closer to Christmas. It gets more and more quiet, So
Yeah.
it's just how it is with the holidays. But didn't you think this holiday came up fast?
What's that, honey?
It came up so fast.
Yeah.
Because it seems like I just got the backdrop up, and then here we are. So it came really fast.
The older you are, the faster it goes.
I guess so.
And that is because it's relative to the total length of our life. You talk to the grandbabies of 6 to 8 years old. That year is very, very long.
Yeah.
As we get older, the year gets shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
And it's kind of too bad because it seems like time is marching on. We have our lives so full.
Yeah.
All that you do, which is amazing, keeping track of everything. Now she wrapped me up in this. Where were we going? Nancy, open this site, open that site. I'm going, oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure out where our next home is going to be if TikTok goes away. So, I mean, that put everybody. I mean, all the creators as well. Over at TikTok, that put everybody in a big tizzy trying to figure out where everybody's going to go. So, I'm just following the leads of others. So we'll see what happens. All right. I will see you. I will speak to you tomorrow, probably, Nancy. And you guys, I'll see you guys over at TikTok. For those of you that are going to TikTok. All right, here we go. Bye-bye. Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust. Turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin.